Good morning and welcome in everyone. As we get started in this morning update, I want to go over a couple different areas that I think are pretty interesting and could lead us whether we're going bearish or bullish in the micro terms, especially with the weekend looming. It's Thursday right now, so we've got today and tomorrow before the thinly traded weekend will start. Right now the ETFs and such are online, so this would be our biggest opportunity for us to have a volatile push. The only question is does that volatile push happen above or below? For Bitcoin, if we want to break out, we need to break over the top of this, what almost looks like a rising wedge now in this, what could be conceived as a right arm. Looks like an head and shoulders topping reversal pattern. I'm topping reversal. Looks like the right arm is getting ready to fall. It looks like it's forming. Now, it doesn't mean it can't come back up. And like the top of this pattern is 105,971. We've had the bearish cross in the 4 hourly, the 20 cross the 50 and the 100. If it breaks this formation, the next layer is going to be 103,261. But as I said, I have a very strong suspicion that there's a possibility that this can come down and form an inverse right shoulder. And then it would be a beautiful inverse head and shoulders setup, which if that held, that would lead us up to that 125,000 area. If it failed, it could drop us all the way down to that 64K area. So there's a lot of back and forth here. There's a lot of guesswork. Ethereum right now is still below the Mendoza line, as we've been talking about. Ethereum's the gatekeeper right now. Does it break out right now, push up like this, or does it drop down and come down to what could be perceived as these inverse right arms? Now, would that mean it comes down to 2130? Would that mean it would come all the way down here to 1758? The good thing is we've got a little bit of a similarity here. The only thing is we don't have the similarity here. Like we had the drop down, further level to the head. Here's that first level, drop down. We haven't hit it yet, like over here. So, I mean, it does make sense to come down to somewhere around that $2,100 level, unless Ethereum can break out volatilely. So I have it set up. What needs to happen for it to break out? What needs to happen if it were to break down? So I'm taking the guesswork out this morning. As you can see, we're still below that rising, what we've been calling rising wedge. Ever since it was inside of it, then it fell outside. And now we're trying to see if it's getting rejected or if it's forming a V-shaped recovery so it can go farther up. On a V-shaped recovery, you would think it would come back down towards that 2100 level to form that right side. But if it just surges out of here, that could be a moot point. So we'll watch today, see if we can get any kind of volatility to the upside between Bitcoin and Ethereum. On XRP, for the sake of not having a better word, we're kind of in no man's land here, and we'll discuss that a little bit further in a minute after I do the intro. Good morning. 7:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, June 5th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So if you're watching, please make sure that like button so YouTube does recommend this update. Yesterday's video had a hell of a time trying to push around. It didn't reach very many people. Not very many likes either, so that did not help, especially with YouTube shadow banning me. So make sure to hit that like button. Share this on social media. Hit that subscribe button and join the over 43,000 subscribers of the channel. And make sure to turn that bell notification to all, just so if YouTube's going to share it, be on that list. At least give it a shot. So with XRP, we've got that $2.15.5 as the make it or break it point. If we can stay over this area, we're still back testing a breakout, and that could surge us up to 265 and ultimately right around that $3 level. And then further, if it were to break out, if we break down that $2.15.5, the next layer is going to be right around $1.98 to $2.04. And then if that breaks, you're down to $1.50 in that FVG. If we look at the back tested distribution, it could lead us down to $1.98 to 202. We'll say 202 in real time, down to about 202. And then if it wants to create the similarity that we did back here, you would still need to come down and at least hit this right side again. But that's to be determined, because you've got a pretty wide variety of setup here. And then if you came all the way to the bottom of the box, I mean, you're talking about that $1.43 area. But we know that support structure extends all the way down to about $1.34 to $1.50 if we were to break through. Now, we're not saying we're going to break through. It's just we're getting these signals that things are kind of fading a little bit, at least in the short term. That doesn't mean in the macro that things have changed, because in the macro, we're still looking super bullish. It's the micro that gives me the concern. Now, we can get rid of this micro view. Like, we could turn around here in the 3-hourly, have a bullish reversal, use this as an inverse head and shoulders, and we're off to the races. Like, this is the other option here. We got a left shoulder, down to a head. Maybe this is being used as a right shoulder. Then we can bounce out. So I'm not saying we're going to fall 100%. I'm just saying that's part of the things that I'm watching. That makes me a little bit nervous here this morning. Not even this morning, but for the better part of the last couple of weeks, is the fact that you could see this built-in drop if we couldn't break free here. So it's just something I'm watching. It's not a guarantee. So we're watching the bullish and bearish side. And on the bullish side, we're going to want to hold that $2.15 and ultimately push out very volatility. So that's just something I'm watching this morning. And we'll see if we can hold the bullish bounce or if we have the bearish breakdown. The bullish bounce would consist of XRP holding at $2.15 and pushing out volatilely up to 242. Well, 229 resistance is our first area. So over the top, we got the 229 pivot point. If this ends up pushing up a little bit here, if it breaks down that 215.5, we know the support structure's underneath. The resistance above would be 229 pivot point. You break that, then you're up to 242. You take care of 242. You got one small resistance at around 252. And then ultimately the big pivot level at 265. So we'll stay with the positive mindset. But we also won't be negative if this breaks down, because we're watching this exactly how we need to. And we're seeing this in real time. XRP Bitcoin pairing's flat. Trying to bounce off the support, but that could very well be a head and shoulders pattern. If it bounces off it, you're going to come way back up here to the 4.2 plus sat level, 429.05000. If it breaks down, you've got a small support structure, but you've got this back test that hasn't happened yet on the further part. So you might even come all the way down if we have a big breakdown. So we have to pay attention. This is the gatekeeper right now for XRP. How's the XRP Bitcoin pairing doing? This will tell us a lot. Because that could be as far as a 67% retest. And if that happens, I'm not saying XRP drops 67%, but it might be dropping faster than Bitcoin in this scenario. So just be aware. We'll continue to update cryptocurrency, especially during the short this afternoon. And then live this evening. We'll probably do the live this evening around 5 p.m. depending on how it's going. I'm really pressed for time at night because it's getting towards the end of the school year. Yesterday we were still able to do 53 minutes, I believe it was, in the live. And today it'll be at least 50 minutes. So we're still going to be dedicated during the lives and everything else, even though YouTube's kind of giving me a lot of problems. So pay attention to XRPFutureMillionaire.com. Almost ready. It'll be a way for me to put content out, but also a way to have the 24/7 live XRP charts, and I'll continue to update on that. That's just something I'm working on, just especially if something happens on YouTube to where they ban me or whatever. So gold, and then I'll let you guys get this update. Gold's up about $18 an ounce to 3,392. It tapped 3,400 briefly this morning. Barrett Gold's up 1.25% in pre-market, or 25 cents to $20.39 an ounce. Per share. B2 Gold's up 1.63%, or 6 cents to $3.73 in pre-market. Silver's starting to break out officially here, up $1.25 or 3.67%. And silver started breaking out of this formation. So next target would be $39.55. This would be a big moment here for silver. Had a micro-sized pattern of the previous breakout, and now it looks like we're there. So silver looked like it breaking out, up 3.65%, or $1.26 on the day to $35.70. We haven't seen these levels in some time. Pan America Silver in pre-market's up 4.55%, or $1.21 to $27.80. First Majestic is up 6.32% in pre-market, or 46 cents per share to $70.74. And Fortuna Silver Mines is up 29 cents per share, 4.3% to $7.03. So a spectacular start to the day for mining stocks. We'll look at this as the day progresses, and we'll see exactly what transpires. Have a blessed morning, everybody.